just go into the men's loo?
Hello and welcome to the bonus episode of Kill James Bond that you're also getting for free on the free feed, despite the fact that it's a bonus episode. I am Alice Caldwell-Kelly, an East German police trabant with one wheel falling off, the back seat filled with patches. Joining me...
Yeah.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah,
go on.
joining you.
Abigail Thorne, a Jaguar E-Type with a very, sort of slickly waxed bodywork, and Devon... Devon, what's your persona here? Because I've been struggling with this, right?
Okay, so I have two potential answers here. I was gonna say like a really fucked up old Fordson tractor, but then I found out that tractors in the Cars universe are essentially cows. So like some sort of Chevy, maybe. I'm not fully certain. Anyway,
we watched Cars 2 on our podcast
I'm really
about
sorry.
James Bond.
I'm sorry about this one, boys.
No, it's perfect. It was an incredibly random choice because it was listeners. It was Dev's turn to pick the bonus film, and they selected Cars 2, which was like kind of a random choice because it sort of has a spy plot, but it turned out to just be perfect and also horrific.
It was a little bit out of left field. Also, you two watched it moments before it was revealed that football was not, in fact, coming home, and I watched it the morning after we learned that football was not coming home. So all of us were already insane.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then we watched probably the movie that has made me feel the most confused that I've seen in recent memory, at the very least.
So the Joker, this is a normal family film, but the Joker is also a car.
This is the first Pixar film, the trivia thing that clocked Caroline Cossey told me, that did not win Best Animated Feature at the Oscars.
No.
And boy, can you tell why?
Wasn't even nominated.
Ooh.
This is the worst Pixar movie of the modern era.
I think
hands
it might be.
Pretty much down,
it
like
might be.
39% to the next closest 70%.
Now, none of us have seen Cars 1.
Nor will we.
No, because we disrespect the franchise and also you, the listener. But I feel like we should sort of set out the stall here, right? To what the Cars deal is, what the Cars universe is. Which is the world is cars. Like no people, no nothing like that. Only cars, but the cars are sentient. They have like personalities, they can talk, they have mouths. Also, like planes and boats and trains are also sentient, but there's no people. But like society exists more or less as it does in our world, sort of.
As we will see.
Yeah. So you get these really haunting visuals of just a city without people, where like the houses are 100% what they look like in the real world, but it's just populated by cars.
Yeah, cars live in them.
And you're like, there's no way you could live in that house. Who lives in the houses?
And then
what's going on?
And then occasionally you'll see the inside of a plane, which is alive. There's one point where our characters get on a plane and like all the plane seats are like car sized. You like drive into a little bay. So the planes must be enormous, but they're also alive.
Yes, you are flying inside a plane's guts, essentially. Now,
Go on.
all right, fine. We got to start. We start with a spy plot, right?
It's kind of easier to describe what happens and then every now and again just go, by the way, everyone involved in this is a car. So do you
want me to like step back a bit from doing the scene by scene for this one? Because every time I try,
yeah. So we start off with a secret agent whose name isn't important, but they're sending us a secret message
The name is Leland Turbo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're sending a message to Secret Agent Finn McMissile saying, "Oh, there's a big secret that I've found. You need to meet me at these coordinates." And then we cut to Finn McMissile, who's voiced by Michael Caine, who is a car.
He's like an Aston Martin,
he's
kind
a
of. He's like a silver spy car, but he's not like Connery-esque. He's Michael Caine doing Michael Caine voice.
Yeah, he's just Michael Caine.
Yeah.
Which is fucking great. Master.
So he's on a boat which is alive.
Yeah, and the boat's talking to him.
Yeah, they're driving into the sea, and then a big military boat appears who is also alive and says, "Fuck off." And then the nice boat has to turn around, but Finn McMissile latches onto the back. And anyway, he sneaks into these big oil platforms where he sees some nefarious dudes. And then we see a corpse!
Immediately!
Yes. Mangled corpse, 2 minutes 29 seconds into this movie for children. They're like, "Oh, hey, what happened to like this guy who gave out the warning? What happened to this other spy?
Agent Leland Turbo.
He met with a nasty end, and he has been cubed. He has been like compressed to death
by Professor Zundap, who is a car with a monocle.
Is a huge slander on East German engineering, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, Zundap Works did nothing wrong. Least of all, make like Nazi cars. They were communist anyway.
Yeah, this guy's a Zundap Janus, which the doors were at the front and back instead of on the sides. And he's German nominally, but he's doing that sort of TV German where he speaks with a perfect English accent.
The voice of it.
And occasionally just says wunderbar. Shit like that. Also, were those battleships fucking Zumwalt class, or are they?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, like DDG 1000s. So yeah, that's cool. The US military is canonically evil. Anyway, so like Finn McMissile sees a sort of what looks like a TV camera that's like a secret device. Takes a bunch of photos of it, and then we get the classic sort of get spotted. Hey, get him! And all of the henchmen who are cars drive after.
Cannot stress that enough.
The spy car.
But he has a bunch of gadgets. He can like grapple onto things. The way he takes pictures is he can like flip his head, like his mirrors around and zoom in with them.
Because he's a spy car. But like at one point he drives up a crane on this oil rig. And the crane has like a face, right?
Crane's alive.
Mm-hmm.
That crane is a sentient but immobile being.
Mm-hmm.
The crane is the oil platforms aren't sentient.
Mm-hmm.
But the crane on top of them is, which for all intents and purposes means that he is stuck there forever.
Yes,
alive.
He is imprisoned, working. He's like, it's like if you locked someone on a treadmill, which is fine. That's fun. So.
This was the point where I was like, oh, they're just going to be straight up killing cars for this entire movie.
It's like in universe very violent.
Yeah, the moment where Finn McMissile, fun spy car, pulls out a fucking gun and shoots a car to death in the first 5 minutes of this movie, I just kind of like sat fully back in my chair and just went, oh.
He deploys an oil slick, and one of the bad guy cars.
We later establish oil is like a bodily fluid to these cars. So essentially, James Bond pisses on the floor.
Well, it's also food. So are they just drinking piss all the time, or are they?
Yeah, James Bond deploys his like piss slick.
And this bad guy car slips over the side of the platform and hits the sea, screaming and shatters into pieces, and is presumably like dead as fuck.
Yeah, he's fucking dead.
He dies. What happens to the immortal soul of a car when they die?
But anyway, Finn McMissile turns into a jet ski and then a submarine and escapes. And that's our opening. There's a big explosion in which presumably several cars are mangled or murdered, and he escapes. He escapes with the pictures of this TV camera.
Finn McMissile sort of fakes his death, that kind of thing.
And again, he is voiced by Michael Caine. So he's doing Michael Caine voice the whole time. And then Michael Caine doesn't try and do like a spy voice or anything. He sounds like, Alfred or, the guy from the Italian Job, depending on how old you are.
That's right. Then we get the smash cut that made me go, oh, I see. Oh God. Which is essentially someone saying something like, who's going to stop us now or that. And it cuts to Toe Mater, who is the comedy relief character from the first movie, but the protagonist of the second, because that was a great choice.
Jack Sparrow move.
Great choice by everyone involved.
Buck-toothed, rusted tow truck, voiced by Larry the Cable Guy.
Just talking like a country bumpkin, and I was like, oh man, this is going to be the movie, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be the accent we get.
We see him helping out a broken down car who like breaks down all the time because
who am I kidding? I'll always be a lemon.
And he keeps trying. We see that he almost drove to the county line this time, but he broke down again, and so Mather has to come and like rescue him.
So a lemon is a car that breaks down all the time and that always needs help. That's the word that they use in universe. That ends up being very important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. A lemon.
A lemon.
Yeah, we'll
a real thing. There's like a race called the 24 Hours of Lemons where they buy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they like do endurance racing with deliberately like bad cars for fun. But yeah, so Mather drops his lemon friend back home and finds that Lightning McQueen, protagonist of the first movie, is back in town after the events of the first movie.
Don't know what those are. Don't know what those were.
Don't know what those were. Probably driving around a lot.
He's voiced by Owen Wilson.
Being welcomed home by like the sort of like the population of this town, all of whom are cars. There's like a fire engine. There's a sheriff who is a car.
There's like a truck. There's a big truck called Mac, which is what Lightning McQueen drives around in as sort of
he rides around in that guy's asshole,
which is
much like a road flare. Within the body of an England fan, Lightning McQueen is carried from place to place by like driving up into the back end of Mac, and then just sort of like hanging out there.
Cool.
Yeah. Also he has like a pit crew, two of whom are Italian.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
One of them's like a little Fiat, and one of them is I don't know, like a tiny little like 3-wheeled car thing, forklift thing.
Yeah, whenever the makers of cars have written themselves into a gap, realizing that they need someone to actually manipulate an item, they just assign that role to a loader, something with like forklift arms.
Yeah.
That comes up all the time.
So Mesa welcomes his friend Lightning McQueen back, and they have fun, but it's annoying because Mesa is too childish, and Lightning has a girlfriend car.
Lightning has a girlfriend car.
He has a girlfriend.
She's a Porsche.
Car. Who's a Porsche?
I assume she was set up in the first film. Haven't looked. Won't look.
No, not important. She is like a lilac Porsche Boxster. And he's like, no, I wanna spend time with my girlfriend. And Mather is like quite innocently like, okay, well, when are we going, buddy? And sort of gets his feelings hurt that his friend wants to like have time without him around.
He wants to go on a date with the car.
Yeah. So he takes her to a car restaurant.
Yeah.
A car,
sort of a car restaurant. They go to
a
restaurant.
And Mesa pretends to be their waiter. They missed a great joke here by calling him a maitre d', but go off. He pretends to be their waiter in order to like hang out more with them. But while he is getting their drinks, the like car news,
the Exposition News Network comes on.
Yeah,
comes on the television,
and we meet a whole host of characters who are going to be
a whole host of guys
going to be relevant. So there's what's his fucking name? Eddie Izzard.
Sir Miles Axelrod.
Yeah, of course.
Sir Miles
Axelrod. Names
Axelrod.
like this, audience.
Yeah,
Sir Miles Axelrod, who is billed as the first car to circumnavigate the globe without GPS, which sent me down such a spiral.
So
has GPS just been a fact of these cars' reality forever? Are the satellites sentient?
How did they like? So the Earth has never been circumnavigated before. He is this world's Ferdinand Magellan.
Are satellites also sentient?
Are they sentient?
In which case, is it just
the same?
Is it just
Are
stuck
they
up
lonely?
there? Yeah.
Is it like 1770, 76?
They're like,
Are they just
they're
up
like
there
over
like
Glasgow, and they're like, oh no!
Yeah, like in a geostationary orbit, and they're like, fuck, I can only look at this.
Yeah.
forever.
The International Space Station is terrified of you, Alice.
So no, because I don't exist in this, or I'm a car.
You're a car.
I'm going to shoot like a fucking spark plug at the International Space Station.
Yeah, what is the car version of nutting? Because
that's a great question.
We don't know because the date is interrupted.
Question.
But Eddie Izzard, I'm going to continue referring to the character as Eddie Izzard, and she is doing Eddie Izzard voice the entire time.
Yes.
The character is male, but Eddie Izzard now uses she/her.
Yes.
And Eddie Izzard has invented a new kind of clean fuel called All in Oil, or All in All, and is hosting a big Grand Prix to show off what it can do, because it's this new environmentally friendly fuel. And there's also an Italian race car there.
Francesco, who is like this sort of like open-wheeled, GT, well, like Formula One car, I guess.
And his open wheels make him hot?
Yeah. They're like having your tits out, I guess. Or like having your balls either side of like a thong or something. Because like they make a great deal out of how sexy the girl cars. There's girl cars, by the way.
So when guys do that, it's hot. But when I do it, I'm banned from the beach.
Yeah, because they have this sort of chat. Miles Axelrod has thought of a new thing to promote All in All, which is like a world Grand Prix, which apparently hasn't ever happened before. But that's fine. And Lightning McQueen is, of course, back home. He's having a rest. He's not taking part. And Francesco starts talking absolute smack on Lightning McQueen. And as a
Francesco
good
is
friend,
very Italian.
Love this character. Favorite character.
Francesco Bernoulli. Phenomenal.
He is like in the colors of the tricolore. He's voiced by John Turturro doing his like best like Italian accent. No, I don't have drops from Francesco, but
despite the football having not come home, he is my favorite character.
Yes, easily.
He's really good.
But he's like, do not respect this car. He only drive in the circles. And so he starts like baiting Lightning McQueen. And Mather, who is impersonating a waiter, calls into the show to try and like fight with him.
Yeah.
Is easily outwitted and humiliated on national car television.
Mm-hmm.
And Lightning McQueen, being a gallant friend, is like, he grabs the phone. He's like, I don't appreciate you talking to my friend that way. So I am gonna race in the International Grand Prix, and I'm gonna like it's coming home basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Lightning McQueen's girlfriend, who has a car called Sally,
she's got like pouty lips,
dumbass like, horny for Francesco.
There's like a car cucking subplot here. Like she's like, he's so hot because of his open wheels, and Lightning McQueen gets self-conscious, and he's like, but I thought you liked my fenders.
There's even a bit later on where she like lies to him that she doesn't actually think it's all that hot that he has open wheels.
Is this are the fenders like sleeves? Like, is this Dev? Is this like when you get the guns out?
I've got to imagine. It's like wearing very short shorts as opposed to like cargo pants.
Sure.
Like some sort of mook.
But except they're on your body and you can't change them.
Yeah. She sort of like pressures Lightning McQueen into taking his friend Mather, the comic relief character in the first movie. Mater.
Yeah, they take him to Tokyo, which is where the first leg of this international Grand Prix is. By the way, World Grand Prix, 3 locations: Tokyo, Italy, England. That's the
right.
world.
That is right.
We only just got around it. We only just found out how big it is.
They go into the big plane's body, and the big plane takes them to Tokyo.
They're watching like a car Takeshi's Castle
Yeah.
Which is great. And at that point, I was like, oh no, because one of the characters in Kaz Takeshi's Castle had like samurai red and white face paint, and I was like, surely this won't. Surely they're not going to do this.
Do you want to talk to us a little bit about what goes on in like what do we see of Tokyo?
The montage of Tokyo, Dev.
The montage of Tokyo.
The montage of Tokyo. Okay, so picture Tokyo in your mind as shown in any American movie. So it's like neon.
I'm
right?
rotating a Tokyo in my mind.
It's dark out. There's neon signs everywhere. You've got like a capsule hotel. You've got people buying wheels out of like a vending machine. I say people, they're cars. You
cars.
also
K-cars for the most part.
They go to a sumo wrestling thing.
Yep.
And they go to
They're cars. Those sumo wrestlers are cars. Kabuki.
Right now. Just normal cars though as well. Not even like push cars or nothing.
I have a big note here in all caps that simply says car geisha.
Yes. They go to like a Japanese car play, and Tomeda shows up and he's dressed as a samurai too.
Yep.
And,
all of the neon signs are like 4 cars.
There's a car Zen farmer.
There's a little car who's an Italian car. He's a Piaggio Ape. I love those cars. Got a little model of one on my desk to hold my hijab pins in.
3 wheels.
3 wheels, but like he's wearing a sort of conical hat, and he's like raking a Zen garden, and Meta sort of embarrasses himself through different situations in Car Tokyo.
Meta's a fish out of water.
Excuse this rather odd mixture of styles, but I refuse to go entirely Japanese.
Beep beep.
Meta's just seeing Japanese things and being like, this is not what this is. It's a different thing that I'm more familiar with.
It's a series of like Larry the Cable Guy bits.
Yeah.
So like he tells the guy raking the Zen garden that he's got all of the leaves already.
We forgot something extremely important, which is the Eddie Izzard Miles Axelrod character.
Yes.
In circumnavigating without GPS, which we got caught on a side bit about.
Yeah.
He, the character, the car, got lost.
That Eddie Izzard is playing.
The character that the Eddie Izzard, the woman, is playing.
Miles Axelrod. He got lost. And he distilled his own fuel to keep him going, and afterwards is this like a Bear Grylls thing where he like drinks his own piss to survive?
Gotta be. So he swears off petrol, and he has converted himself into an electric vehicle.
Yeah, he's like one of the like newer sort of electric Land Rovers.
It looks very swish.
Like. Yeah. So we get sort of Meta embarrassing himself. He like.
At the big opening party for the Grand Prix, like he keeps embarrassing Lightning, and Lightning's like, well, you should like, we're not in Radiator Springs anymore. You should change yourself to like blend in here, but not in a yellow face kind of way. And
don't put that samurai makeup on again.
But also Finn McMissile
a car
is there.
wearing yellow face. Yeah, a car. Finn McMissile is there, along with new character.
I'm Agent Shiftwell, Holly Shiftwell from the Tokyo station.
Holly,
of course you are.
Shiftwell.
Holly Shiftwell
from Station T Tokyo.
Yes.
Yeah,
and they understand that an American car, which means that there is a United States of America, but it's all cars. An American car working for the American car CIA, because they do mention that the existence of both the CIA and the FBI,
the Car Intelligence Agency,
has like photos,
Bureau of Intelligence,
identifying like what this sort of weird camera thing was.
Right? So the Americans have identified that the oil platform that Finn was on is sitting on top of a newly discovered massive oil deposit, and they also apparently have a picture of the evil boss behind the whatever it is going on. So they need to meet the American agent in order to get the picture of the big bad guy and find out who it is. But because the bad guys from the oil platform are there, Finn sends in Holly to meet the American agent instead of him because they'll recognize him.
Yes, and the way that she meets him, she follows him into the GPS tracker into the mail car's toilet.
Mail cars.
The mail cars have a toilet that's distinct from the female cars, and so
They have a toilet.
Let's go into the men's loo.
The cars have
What is
a toilet.
primary sexual differences between a male and a female car?
Why do the cars excrete only in
Cars have
toilets?
pussy.
Yeah, because Mesa seems to leak oil on the stage, embarrassing Lightning McQueen. And Lightning McQueen is fully like, "Oh, just go clean yourself up. You're disgusting." As if he has just taken a dump on the stage. My like recurring IBS nightmare. Mesa just shits himself on stage.
It's treated as if it's like piss, right? Because he's on stage with Miles Axelrod, and Miles is like, "Oh, he's getting a little excited, isn't he?" And it's like, sorry, what is oil? Someone tell me what oil is.
Piss. That's piss.
But they were drinking oil earlier on.
But they drink oil.
And they dig it out of the ground.
Yeah, but
What
the
is
oil? It's piss. They both drink and mine piss.
And it's blood, because we see when Finn gets shot in the opening, there's like a wisp of oil in the water that's suggestive of blood.
Oh.
And they're like, "Oh, he's dead."
No, piss. They shoot him in the bladder. No,
It's
okay.
everything.
It's all piss.
It's all piss.
World. Should we go piss too? Okay, so like the American agent is there. He's kind of like a muscle car, and he's tough.
Yeah.
And he gets cornered in the bathroom
In a bit of an homage to Casino Royale.
by two goon cars?
two goon cars. They're called Grem and Acer. They're a
AMC Gremlin and AMC Pacer.
And
two
they're
cars which James Bond has driven,
They're
incidentally.
sort of very loosely Winton Kid coded, but not in any way.
They're like kind of more like just
henchmen.
mobsters. They're like get 'em boss kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so Mesa runs into the bathroom to piss, and gets into a sort of a battle of wits with a Japanese smart toilet.
Which is
oil
not
cars.
sentient.
No.
Or is it?
No, it's not. It's a computer,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like a sort of AI, like a digital assistant thing for a smart toilet. It's like a half-remembered joke about Japan in the 90s. It was like, you could have lifted this from Rising Sun.
Mm-hmm.
It's a smart toilet.
Smart toilet for a car.
It's for cars.
And when Mesa pisses in the smart toilet, it hits him with a cold bidet. So it hits him in
the orifice through which he's
in whichever orifice that he's in the oil drain hole with a bidet, a car bidet.
Oil comes out of the undercarriage somewhere, but it's like,
out of the oil drain.
And it's
with that.
Yeah,
and they
there's an oil
drink it,
drain.
but it's also blood and piss.
Yeah.
Blood and piss, and they drink it and they mine it out of the earth. And they turn it into petrol.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
okay. I think we've gotten to the bottom of this. All right,
That's all true. So like the two henchman cars kidnap the American muscle car, but before he does that, he is able to like plant the photo on Mater's undercarriage, which again is like he like sticks a piece of microfiche to his asshole.
Yeah, and it has the tracking device on it.
Yes.
The upshot is that the American agent gets captured. Mater finishes pissing, leaves the bathroom, and he gets mistaken.
No, not yet. The way he gets mistaken is because the GPS tracker is on him now. But before Holly Shiftwell meets him, she rolls up to the men's bathroom, which she can't go into because she's not a male car, and she wouldn't pass.
She doesn't have track
as a male car, and so we hear Mesa say,
"And when she starts giggling, prepare to be squirted."
About the smart, and when she starts giggling, prepare to be squirted.
We're about 20 minutes into this movie.
Yes,
it's
just
like this for the whole runtime. Everything they say implies so much about the wider Cars universe lore.
Now, okay, so.
Oh, so you get the way she actually notes of it. He's the American agent, right? Is because she sort of calls up Michael Caine and is like,
Yeah, he's like,
I don't know if this guy's the agent.
Caine.
And Michael's like, is he American? And he's like, oh, yep, no, definitely American. It's like,
Extremely,
and it's him.
she says.
And they have a code phrase, which
The
is
common gear has no radiator.
to which the response is
That's because it's air cooled.
cooled, which is a hilariously fallible code phrase, which is pretty accurate to the Bond films as far as I'm aware.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
the
because
fact
Mesa
that-
that's just a true fact, which Mesa also knows
because he's a mechanic.
So when she hits him with the common gear
Or a
has
surgeon?
no radiator.
Is he
He's a-
a surgeon?
he's-
Is that the same?
he-
No, because they are different.
No, because he
they're-
takes people to the
He's an
mechanics.
ambulance driver, but he's not an ambulance. Because that's
no,
a
there are
separate thing.
ambulances.
No, there are ambulances in this movie, which raises a serious question of what happened, what are they for, and what happens in the back of those ambulances.
What is an ambulance for? There aren't people. What could an ambulance possibly be doing?
What is your purpose?
Who
Why
are
is
you
that?
for? So,
What's in the back of you?
Oil?
Because we know that they're not just solid blocks. We know that the cars can contain things because, like, the planes contain things. What?
Why are there seats?
Why? What is carried in the back of an ambulance?
Why do they have steering wheels?
What is the point of divergence from this timeline? Were there people and aren't anymore, or has it just been cars the whole fucking time? In which case, did they evolve?
Wait. There's a bit earlier where Sir Miles Axelrod says about alternative fuel, right?
I mean, come on, it's a fossil fuel. Fossil, as in dead dinosaurs. And we all know what happened to them.
So dinosaurs existed.
There were dinosaurs?
Were they cars?
No, okay, so this
Were
is
they
just...
cars? Did a fucking meteor come down and kill Truckosaurus Rex?
I'm just Googling whether dinosaurs cars. But like what we... So maybe it's just an alternate evolution thing where like instead of people evolving, cars, planes, and various other automobiles.
No, because why would they have evolved steering wheels?
Don't hurt me!
It doesn't make sense.
Why are any of the things the same?
So, okay.
Horny mistakes made for the American agent.
And this is the plot of North by Northwest. If you're not aware, it's a guy who doesn't know anything about spying being increasingly mistaken for a master spy as he like stumbles through, and everybody's like, "Oh, you're doing such a good job of acting." Meanwhile, he has no clue what's going on. It's North by Northwest.
Yeah, and Maida thinks that because she's like, "Oh, let's rendezvous tomorrow," and Maida's like, "Are you asking me on a date?" And that's what happens.
That's so.
And then,
the American spy car. We now see him be tortured to death.
We see him be tortured to death.
Movie.
This man gets Abu Graped.
This man is restrained, and then Professor Zundap explains to him that the camera thing that everybody's been looking at is a like heat ray.
It emits
boils.
an EMP beam that boils all in all.
Yeah, and so.
So it's not even that he's just restrained, because he's put on like a treadmill that's moving his back wheels to force his engine to go, and they've hooked all in all up to him. So he's being force-fed, all in all, and then he's told by Professor Zundap. Sorry, I got that and Zundwalt confused. Zundap that the camera's going to make the all in all boil now in a kids movie.
And he tries to like brazen it out, and he's like, I can replace a cracked engine block. And Zundap is like, well, yes, but when it explodes, there's going to be nothing to replace because we're going to fucking kill you, dog. Like, this is a murder that we're setting up for here. I mean, I can't say that he doesn't follow through with that one. There's no like, do you expect me to talk moment here. He explodes the car to death.
Yeah,
he reveals pictures, and then the American agent
he fucking kills him like Kiki Camarena, right? Like tortures a car intelligence agent.
Yes.
to death.
Yes.
And he reveals that Mater is the
death.
guy that he passed the photo to. So show him a bunch of pictures, and then like they see that he like looks nervously at the one of Mater.
Which means it does establish that within the fiction of this movie, torture works.
Yeah.
It does.
Huh.
It
At
does
least on
do
this
that.
occasion.
Torture is an efficient way of extracting truthful information from a car.
Absolutely.
I mean,
I remember when the car torture memo came down the car, George Bush.
Is there a car, John Yoo, who signed that?
Is there a car Office of Strategic Services? What's happening?
If there's a car America, there must be a car Afghanistan. And if the planes essentially did car 9/11 happen?
Yeah, the planes themselves were radicalized in car 9/11.
Well, no, it would have to be that the planes were like taken control of from the inside by
because you can't
cars.
go on a plane as a car.
Yeah. So the cockpit to the plane's brain must have been seized by.
So there was a car Mohammed Atta.
Yes.
But
Which means there was a car Osama bin Laden. Who was eventually killed by like Navy SEAL cars and buried at sea from a ship that was also sentient.
Yeah, I mean that all tracks.
Okay, fine. So Lightning McQueen enters the race.
Sorry, no, because that means that one of the 9/11 flights was shot down by the missiles aren't sentient. But that means that a sentient plane was shot down by sentient car George Bush.
They claim that it was forced down by the passengers, which means that other cars.
But United Airlines Flight 93 was alive and sentient.
Yes, yeah, and then like as it was being hijacked by cars, the other cars aboard tried to like regain control of it. And the sentient plane crashed into a field in Pennsylvania.
If you believe the car story,
if you believe the car 9/11 car mission,
9/11 car mission, very good. I think that's as far as we can go into that. So there's this very strange scene where Lightning McQueen meets the fast one, Francesco Bernoulli, and Francesco reveals that he has on his rear some sort of taunt towards Lightning,
a sticker.
See you later.
Ciao, McQueen, so that when he passes him, he'll see it.
Yeah, he's written this on his ass.
Yeah, I wrote, I got an ass tattoo because I hate you. What?
Yes. Mater is in the pits. He's like part of the pit crew.
Because it's time for the first race.
Yes.
And so Lightning sets off in this race with like a bunch of different cars of like different manufacture that like each have different like nationalities, which is mostly dependent of their vibes. There's like a German touring car one called Schnell. There's like a Japanese one. There's a French like rally car called Roland de la Poipe or whatever.
The bad guys use the EMP camera to like take out some of the racers. They don't die. They just kind of flame out and crash.
Yes, but they also see Mater there and they try to like move in on him. And so our two spy cars, Finn McMissile and Holly Shiftwell, have to try and rescue him. So they like hack into the like the like pit crew radio.
Yeah.
Yes.
And as they're saving him, Mater is talking to them on the radio, but it's also going through to McQueen, who like misunderstands what Mater is saying and like shifts to an outside lane, which allows Francesco to win just.
Yes. So they beat up some hench cars and Mater escapes. But when he comes back to McQueen blames him for having made him losing the race, right? Yeah. And he says, like, I don't want your help. I don't need your help. You embarrass me.
Yeah. It's a classic Pixar kids movie. The two protagonists get mad at each other line.
Yeah, exactly. So
the sort of conceit of the World Grand Prix is that the cars have to use all in all.
Oh yeah.
It's their sort of like their alternative fuel. It's being proven to be good, so they have to use it, which is why that microwave gun works on just anyone they point it at.
So Mater goes to go home. And as he's at the airport, which has airport security, which has metal detectors,
and you have to take off your tires.
Yeah, they take off their tires, which is
which would mean that another radicalized car had tried to plant a bomb in its tire, like Richard Reed.
So there's a
and then tried to like detonate that explosive device as a car in a plane full of cars. In order to advance a Wahhabist, Takfiri, Salafist.
Yeah, so it
version
naturally follows that Islam
the car
exists.
Muslims face Mecca is the Kaaba a car.
Kaaba.
I mean, we know that Catholics exist because we see the Pope mobile later on.
We see the Pope. We see the Pope.
Yeah,
There's a Pope. There's a Pope who is a car, and he's riding around in the Pope mobile, who is also a car, which means the one true holy apostolic Roman Catholic Church exists in the Cars universe, which means there was or was believed to have been a car Jesus, and car Jesus was crucified.
They're wearing crosses, so like they crucified a car at some point.
They crucified a car.
Yeah, the Roman car Empire crucified.
Pontius Pilate car crucified Jesus car
for claiming that he was king of the
brackets car.
The Jewish cars.
He crucified a car, and then that car
buried
either
it?
like depending on your religion either died or was like seen to die, was then taken down from the cross, because we know it was cruciform, which means that a car can die from crucifixion, is buried in and then after 3 days is risen as a car spirit.
So there's a car papacy, which follows on that there must have been a car inquisition at some point, right?
Certainly.
There was car torture. There was sort of, were there car crusades, do you reckon?
Was there a car paedophilia scandal?
Was there a cars cadaver synod?
Now my question's a little different here, which is the Pope mobile. We see the Pope riding around the Pope mobile, which has the sort of like Lexan transparent walls. Now, the reason why the Pope mobile has those is because a guy shot John Paul II. Has someone tried to tried to assassinate the car Pope?
I mean, we see that they have guns.
Yes.
With
I'm going to go
gun.
ahead and say yes, 100% someone tried to assassinate the car Pope at some point. I mean, so the movie Planes, which is also set in the Cars universe and came out in 2017, I think, implies that Cars World War II happened because they meet they're in Germany and they meet an old bomber plane car.
Excuse me?
So
they meet like an ex-Nazi?
So they I don't know if that's exactly how. I haven't read up on this fully, but I understand that it is implied.
What are all these Mercedes doing in South America?
So there has to have been a car Hitler.
Yeah, a Mercedes, obviously.
Hands down, there was a car Hitler.
There was a car. Yeah, okay. Now, there's two directions I can see that you could go with this, right? I'm not gonna take that bait, but I am gonna say that if there was a car Hitler, there must have been a car World War One, which means there must have been trenches,
cars of Wilhelm II,
full of cars driving over the top into
the car
machine gun fire, because we know they have guns.
Yeah.
There was a car Somme, yeah, definitely there was a car Somme.
And the war was changed by the invention of planes?
Yeah, the warplanes were sentient, just sort of killing each other in the sky there. There was a car Red Baron, there was a plane. So if there was a World War One, that means obviously that there must have been a car Archduke Franz Ferdinand who was assassinated by car Gavrilo Princip.
While he was in a bigger car. Actually, there's a bit while they're still in Tokyo where they race past the Imperial Palace, which they name as such, which means
hang on,
the chrysanthemum throne, the Imperial House of Japan, is extant in. Is there an Emperor of Japan is a car?
There was a car Emperor of Japan
who was allowed to remain after car America nuked.
Yeah, after MacArthur. occupied the
Yeah, so there was so
they nuked cars, right?
Yeah.
Like they dropped 2 atomic bombs out of sentient planes, mind
so
you.
the Enola Gay was alive and did this on purpose.
Enola Gay and Boxcar were alive.
The bombs weren't, right? Because
The bombs were.
No,
missiles and bombs.
The bombs weren't, but like they did kill a lot of cars.
So Finn McMissile meets Mater at the airport, and they get attacked by henge cars, and then they escape into a jet. And Finn McMissile still thinks that Mater is a secret agent.
Yes. And they extract this photo that Mater has had hidden on his ass, which is a photo of a super jacked up looking engine bay. It's like an old British motor, and it's shit.
It's been heavily modified.
We see a bunch of old British Wieland parts. Also, the nuts, the like screws, are like unusual because they're an older pattern. They're like pre-metric or pre-imperial. They're like an old sort of like British Empire standard.
Yeah, which Mater notices because he's a mechanic, which helps give them a clue of what to do next.
Because which really does seem like more of a surgeon thing.
Yeah.
Like, if he's doing like internal like parts recognition, that seems
so mechanics and surgeons have got to be the same sort of thing in the Cars universe.
What does an ambulance do?
They have to go to Paris.
Don't worry about the ambulance.
To see a black market engine dealer who's like, he's the only guy who sells these parts. He's the Lazar of cars. But first we get a quick scene where we cut back to Tokyo, and Lightning McQueen finds out that Mater has gone and feels bad about it, but he finds out by reading a handwritten
there's a note, and it's quite a small piece of paper as well. Like it's large, but it's
written in pencil.
It's like to scale if we were cars,
and it's in like janky, childish handwriting because it's Mater. So he wrote it
with his mouth, I assume.
With a pencil, which was invented because
because the cars could write.
Okay.
So they go to what is essentially like an organ harvesting like deal, right?
Yeah.
Like because
they go to
the parts themselves aren't alive, and it's like kind of understood that parts get swapped out and stuff and modified, but they're still like. These have come off of like cars, right? Like, also there's a really fucking weird scene where Mater is like, he like tries to like talk to a French car, but her eyes, and most cars' eyes, in fact, all that we've seen so far are the windshield. Yeah, they're in the windshield, and they have like instead of eyebrows, they have like little sun visors that come down.
There's just 2 eyes in the windshield, two sclera.
Yeah,
2 pupils.
Yes, which move independently despite being on one surface. So they he like wakes up this French car who's like a little sports car, and her eyes are in her headlights, and Mater is like terrified and repulsed,
like he's seen the Pale Man.
Which honestly, you've got to ask what the real world equivalent of that is. Because that's some heavy ass.
I think it's having eyeballs where your nipples are.
Right?
Yeah.
Like that's some fucking like Cronenberg shit that they just threw in there.
Although we see cars use their headlights and stuff because like Lightning McQueen flashes one of his headlights as part of his like trademark like
blue steel
like, celebration. Yeah.
Ka-chow, that kind of thing.
Does he like get a tit out?
Yeah, he flashes a nip. That's part of his celebration. It's very interesting. Why the cars law?
So they meet this black market parts dealer who
He's a Reliant Regal. So he has like one wheel in the front.
He sold all the parts. He did sell the parts in the photograph to a mystery buyer who he doesn't know. And then it reveals that there's a racial underclass.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's get to the racial underclass, because we've sort of been dancing around this for a while. We mentioned lemons up top, but there are cars that are just shitty. It's just like a fact of their life.
They list like Yugos are the other big one. And like AMC cars, yeah.
Gremlins, Pacers, Apresets, Yugos. These are cars that are considered to be shit, just sort of as a baseline fact of their existence.
Yeah.
just inherently, they're like poorly designed by God.
And like, so you can sort of understand where they came from here, right? There are cars in the real world that are considered to be bad because they're designed badly, right? But when you anthropomorphize them,
that's a person. That's
suddenly
a human
it becomes
person.
really sinister that there are just kinds of cars that are literally just worse. And like, it's their fault.
Well, what you've done there is you've accidentally invented car eugenics.
There are car eugenics, yeah.
So they take a look at the pictures of the oil platform, and they find that all of the cars on the oil platform are lemons. And apparently there's also a secret meeting of like the heads of the lemon families, because they're also crime families, that's going to be going on in Italy, which just so happens to be the location of the next race, because we need to draw out the reveal that Eddie Izzard is the villain. So
we have to go to
back
Italy.
to Italy. What? She's the only other character who's been named.
Yeah, right. It's 100% like law of conservation.
And they keep bringing up Miles Axelrod, who keeps having lines being like, "Hello, I'm still in the film," and then it's like, "Okay, well, you're clearly the villain."
Yes. So we meet a bunch of like different Italian cars.
Yes.
Now, there's a bit where Luigi and the other Italian one, the old Fiat and the like sort of like forklift thing, dance with two new Fiat Cinquecentos, right? Two new Fiat 500s. Which is that because we know right that cars have aging, right? That's established explicitly. It's called mileage.
Yeah, and they drop to bits as they get older.
And like cars age. Now, the new Fiat 500.
It's quite a neat way of doing it, to be fair.
Because like I think Luigi is like an old Fiat 500, right? So he's like from the 70s. Yes. Whereas these new ones, like they made those in 2007.
So
that's an underage car, first of all.
No,
and
hang on.
second of all,
wait. You can't just throw underage car at me.
No,
that's
a child. You can't. That's.
I don't. How does that work? Children?
Well, because the Italian race car says, "Oh, well, he's in Italy. He's at the home advantage because he grew up on these streets." I'm like, "What do you mean he grew up?
Grew up?
What do you mean he grew?
He like ran in. What? Yeah, no. Because obviously, like more newly built and more newly designed cars are going to be younger because they can't have had the mileage.
Less mileage. Those cars. Okay, so wait, no, but like
at the very least, it's a problematic age gap, right? Like because there's at least 20 years in between these two cars.
But you could have one car that was made 20 years ago that never went anywhere, and another one that was made at the same time but drove all over the world and has more mileage. So it can't be a time thing; it's a distance thing.
I know, but like,
you're right.
The one's still get like more likely to scale with the other because, like, even if they'd like fucking circumnavigated the Earth a couple of times, they wouldn't have the same mileage as like because Luigi's like fairly like active, right? He's a mechanic, of course. Is like, and he's been doing it for like since the 70s. That of course that's 50 years. His mileage is going to be like way up. So like, you can't dance with like a new Fiat 500 like a fucking nonce.
Okay. So I hate to do this. I hate to take it here immediately.
I don't think you do.
Is the Lolita Express sentient? Is that alive?
Yeah, must have been.
But
it must have contained Jeffrey Epstein, who was a car, and a bunch of other newer, more recent, like extremely new, in fact, extremely new
cars.
But also, I don't actually think sex exists in this because like the cars aren't even really shown to like kiss at any point. Like a car can't procreate. There's no fucking chance a car can procreate. It's not addressed how more cars get made because it's a film for children, not for three trans idiots to talk about at length in a James Bond podcast. But if it was made for us, I think the cars would fuck.
Of course.
Well, they must reproduce because they can die.
Yeah, because you're right. They have to be able to reproduce because they can die. So those numbers need to
Yeah, they must be
Come
coming
from
from somewhere.
And we see two old Italian cars cohabiting with each other as car and wife.
Yeah.
We do. We see. Okay, so we see
Because
a car
they're
couple.
Luigi's parents. That's even said.
Oh, fuck!
You're right. Oh my god, I forgot they were Luigi's
That's said in the
parents.
film.
Oh,
She's
fuck.
Mama Luigi.
Oh, fuck!
So the cars.
She forced that little
No,
baby
don't
car
say
out of
that.
her gas, out of her petrol cap.
How are new cars made?
What's that new car smell?
They
Is it
come out of the
pussy?
filling cap.
Is that pussy you must smell? I'm sorry, I talked over you as you said something horrid, and I said something
They're
just
a
as
family.
horrid
They're a car
immediately.
families, so they must.
Yes. Yeah.
There
Have
can't
to
be
be
a
car children.
factory. Otherwise, who invented the factories?
They have to.
But like, who would like is a car assembling arm in like one of those robots? Is that just like a fucking artificial inseminator in this universe?
That's
like
gotta be
just
alive,
makes-
right? Because
of course it has a
Yeah.
crane. Is alive.
crane's alive, so the
Yeah.
car automatic assembly arm has
It's a
to be
fuck
alive.
machine.
It
So yeah, no, because that makes perfect sense.
So Mesa goes undercover.
I love it. This is the setup that we've got. For this podcast.
Goes.
Carry on. I'm so sorry.
Infiltrates the meeting of the crime families / racial
Yeah.
underclass.
Yes.
The big boss, it is Eddie Izzard, but the big boss Skypes into the meeting as a scrambled voice, and we
Yes.
can't see their
Yes.
face.
Now, he like reveals that he reveals their plan, right? Which is to destroy a bunch of the cars during the race.
Mhm.
But I want you to listen to this, and I want you to understand that this is the villain speaking about his plan, which is evil, in a children's movie.
They will finally respect us. So hold your hoods high. After today, you will never again be ashamed of who you are.
The bad guys.
Yeah, and that's bad. That's evil.
That's bad.
Because he kills people, but he doesn't actually at any point during the plan. He just causes them to flame out.
That's
So
true.
as
Does
to-
he kill anyone?
No,
But he kills the
directly.
American
He
agent.
He crushes the American agent, but that could be an overzealous underling. I don't
That's
think
true.
he
That could be
direct-
Zendat's fault.
He
Yeah.
does say he very much does specifically say kill Lightning McQueen later on.
Oh
But
yeah, because he's on the phone. Well, anyway.
So the idea is that they are going to ruin alternative fuels' reputation by staging this thing where everyone has to use all in all, and then there's all in all is dangerous. We can't use it, so everyone's going to go back to using oil because the lemons, they own the big oil reserve, so they will be rich.
Why does the world have to change?
Pollution.
climate change
change-
exists in the Cars universe. You got to.
Because
can
fucking
only
Miles
be-
Axelrod says pollution is getting worse.
Yeah.
Well, of course it fucking is, because the entire population of the world is cars and boats and planes and trains, or like most of which are like
and
burning
automobiles.
petrol or gasoline, petrol or diesel.
Yeah, so climate change exists in the Cars universe.
Yes, yes, it does.
Yes.
And they're trying to do a big oil thing where they like profit off of killing off alternative energy,
Mhm.
which is gonna like make people respect them.
Yeah.
Not
lemons.
So
quite
alternative
clear.
energy good, racialized underclass bad. Is that sort of the politics?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
racialized underclass who are also oil executives.
Yes.
yes. So they're an underclass because everyone calls them names, but they have all the oil and the money, and they're all heads of crime families.
They're simultaneously both like reviled, despised, like incompetent, but also a shadowy network of power, of like omnipresent, omnipotent, hidden hands. So this doesn't sound
not
familiar.
hands.
I didn't think it was. I thought it was weird that they wrote those like protocols of the Elders of Lemons.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Lightning McQueen wins the race.
Yes,
but there's a big pile
this
of-
movie is anti-Semitic. I'm not explaining any further, but it is.
I believe you. So Lightning McQueen wins the race, but there's a big pile up behind because one of them flames out on like a narrow bridge and they all get piled up. And going past him is a couple of ambulances. I'm not going to fucking address that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to address that.
What are you... Sentient ambulances? What are they going to do when they get there?
So Finn McMissile and Holly Shiftwell and Maida all get captured. And then because All in All's reputation has been trashed, Miles Axelrod has to appear on TV and say, well, I can't in good conscience require the racers to use All in All in the final race. And McQueen says, I'm going to use it anyway because I trust my friends.
What reasons, yeah.
This was the most like phoned in Pixar shit in the whole movie. Like he goes on the TV and he's like, yeah, I didn't trust one of my friends before, but now if my friends say it's safe enough, then I trust it.
And so the bad guys decide McQueen has to die. In the final race. So Maida and the secret agents wake up in London, which is a terrible thing to happen to
London.
you. And they're strapped into the cogs of Big Ben and they will be crushed.
No, not Big Ben.
Sorry, excuse me. Big Bentley.
Bentley.
Yeah, so
Big Bentley, which is not a car. It's just named that.
So while Mater's unconscious, he experiences a reverie where he just thinks about everyone being rude to him.
Yeah.
And then wakes up. It's cool. At the moment I realized the final race was in London, I wrote, oh no, in big letters.
Oh no.
The Queen
oh no.
is
the Queen.
A car.
The Queen.
There's a car British monarchy.
Prince William is a car.
There's a car British monarchy.
He calls the Queen grandmother. So again, families.
I have an immediate question about
the car's British monarchy.
Well, yeah, specifically about Prince William, right?
That's right.
Who is a car.
Yes.
Which is, who killed his mum? How did his mum die?
A car.
His mum,
she crashed
Princess
into
Diana,
that
was a
bridge
car.
in France.
Well, no, because like she wasn't like
she wasn't driving
driving herself, and we've seen cars can be driven around in other cars because we have the Pope for that.
Mm-hmm.
So like she was being driven around in a larger car that was drunk.
Yeah,
and as she was being harassed by a bunch of paparazzi motorbike. We never see a motorbike in this because where would the rider be? I suppose.
Yeah,
and then Prince Philip, who is a white Fiat Uno.
It's just so funny. It's so fucking funny. He doesn't say anything, but like you know that's fucking Prince Philip. There's a car's British monarchy, which means they have the car's Star of Africa diamond, which means that there was car's colonialism.
There's a car's British Empire.
There is a car's British Empire. They give Tomato an OBE at the end of this, which implies
they give him a KB.
So they did car slavery. By forcing cars onto boat, which were also sentient.
Boats were sentient.
To grow
the cars transatlantic slave trade.
To grow sugar, which they used for
biodiesel.
Yeah, and then there was a civil war between resulting in the formation of the United States of America.
And Samuel Sharp, who was a car,
not the formation.
Samuel Carp said, "I would rather die on yonder gallows than live as a slave," and led the Jamaican uprising, which precipitated the freeing of slaves across the British Empire.
There was a car Haitian revolution.
Car Haitian revolution. Yeah, I was just thinking there was definitely a car Toussaint Louverture.
There was a car Dessalines beheading other cars.
Definitely was a car Dessalines. Shout out to there was
Dessalines.
Dessalines.
Oh, fuck.
There it is. There has to have been a car Cuban revolution. If we're assuming that all of the countries are in the same place. Yeah, Fidel Castro. And Che Guevara.
Car with a big cigar in its mouth.
I'm struggling, boys.
Car British monarchy, which implies the car's English Empire existed, which means there was a cars war, which means there were cars
concentration
camps
in which cars were incarcerated.
Cars in concentration camps.
Car Churchill.
There was a cars Winston Churchill. There was a cars Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact.
Yeah, there was a cars Soviet Union, which made a bunch of those Zaporozhets.
That's right. There's a Yugo, which means there was a cars Yugoslavia.
Which means there was a car Balkan War. There was a car Tito. There was a car Tito. There was a car Enver Hoxha, who built a bunch of bunker cars.
There was a cars famine in Bengal.
So Mater manages to escape, and then so do Holly and Finn. It's because the bad guys try and zap Lightning with the microwave gun, but it doesn't work. So they have to use Plan B, which is a bomb. And Mater escapes to warn him, but then discovers that the bomb has actually been installed in him. They wanted him to escape and go to Lightning.
Joker's trick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They replaced his air filter with a bomb, which is fully, again, that's something that happens in the Dark Knight, right? You implant a bomb in somebody.
I think if someone had replaced my air filters,
your lungs,
bomb, I would notice at some point.
Yeah, well, he can run without an air filter, I guess.
So Mater goes to warn Lightning, then finds that the bomb is on him and tries to get away from Lightning. But because Lightning has learned a lesson about friendship, he starts chasing Mater, being like, I'm not going to let go. Like, I want to be with you. And Mater's like, no, like, I've got a bomb. And he's like, that's right, you are the bomb. So Lightning chases him and like grabs onto Mater's hook. He has a hook. But Mater has rocket boosters that have been installed by the spies, and he blasts off. Yes. They get surrounded by the Lemon gangsters, and it's established that the bomb is voice activated and can only be deactivated by the person who activated it.
Yeah, because they get Professor Zundap in, and they make him say deactivate, but it doesn't work.
They capture Professor Zundap, and then he's not able to disarm the bomb.
So Mater and McQueen fly into the royal box where the Car Queen and Car Prince William and Miles Axelrod are.
Yes, they're like instantly cut off by a bunch of black Land Rovers who are, I guess, the like Met Police royalty protection cars.
Gotta be.
And a bunch of like other cop cars who are wearing the like custodian helmet, the like tall British police hat.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Now, we've kind of seen like modifying cars is like frowned upon, right? Like generally speaking,
kinda.
If
lying about it is.
Are you born a cop? Are you like just like dynastically a cop? Like, are you made to be a cop?
There are no cop cars that aren't like the cop car model.
No.
So like either you can only be a cop if you are born somehow as that model, or you're born a cop.
Yeah, it's like a janissary.
Assigned
it's like a
cop
hereditary cop. Yeah, exactly. Right. Exactly. Now, also, further question. What do the cop cars do?
Well, it's sort of answered earlier when they meet the
French
Reliant
black market
Regal,
organ dealer,
whose name is like Tumble in French or some shit, because they say that he was in an impound for like 20 years, which is brutal. So
the cop cars impound.
They like clamp your wheel,
and
then they put you in an impound for like 20
years.
Yeah, and occasionally they put the Metropolitan Car Police put black cars in the back of police vans, which are alive, and then they arrive at the police station and they have mysteriously been killed.
I'm struggling
for that would happen.
Fucking breathe.
So Mater threatens to blow up the Queen because he's like within like 20 foot of her with a fucking bomb strapped to his hood, and he's saying shit like, "No, I can't stop it." And the police are like, "We are going to shoot you with a gun."
Yeah, they all have guns.
Seems pretty accurate,
they have guns.
Personally.
Yeah,
they have guns. And the Queen says like, "No, I want to see how this goes," which she wouldn't fucking say if there was a bomb threat. She wouldn't be like, "Yo, let's see what the vibe of this bomb threat is." Sorry, carry on.
Mater identifies Axelrod as the villain. Mater's like, "You're the villain. You are the villain. It's your plan to make All in All look bad because, in fact, you are not an electric vehicle. You are fake. I recognize the photograph of the engine, and I can tell by the nuts
and your gait
and your ungainly gait." That you are not an electric vehicle. And it was you that leaked oil on the stage in Tokyo, not me. You are lying about being electric. You are a gas guzzling. However you identify, you cannot change the engine, and you are a dangerous gas guzzling British car And
I feel really bad that aside from like being clocked as trans, he also is just like, and you pissed yourself.
yeah,
It's like, come on, man.
and it's you. And if you pop the hood and we do a genital inspection on you, we'll see that you're not electric. And
they fucking do. They do the Ace
Forcibly.
Ventura pet detective thing.
They Ace Ventura. They pop the car's hood to reveal that it's not had bottom surgery.
Because Axelrod is like, this is crazy. Like, somebody stop this crazy car. But then at the last second, Axelrod goes, deactivate. And the bomb deactivates because they like call his bluff because he's not going to allow himself to be blown up. And then that's how they figure it out. And then they forcibly expose the engine and show that this car, played by a trans actress in front of the Queen, is revealed to be lying about its organs and leading a revolution of a racialized underclass in disguise as an eco-friendly movement. And then the car is arrested.
This is based, actually.
In order to, I guess, be impounded.
Yeah.
Presumably
So-
in a prison for...
In a men's car impound.
In a men's car impound.
Because the cars have genders.
So this is a movie in which a Pixar kids movie in which the villain, played by Eddie Izzard, is a trans allegory who tries to lead a revolution of an oppressed underclass.
Yep.
And is brutally put down.
An oppressed underclass who are oppressed by words and people being mean to them, but they still have a lot of secret shadowy power, particularly control over industry.
Whose identity is immutable because
Who am I kidding? I'll always be a lemon.
Yeah, this is anti-Semitic. All right.
This is like a fundamentally fascist film. I mean, like, I'm kind of being facetious here. I'm not saying that.
No, it is a little bit like
you're gonna make a fucking YouTube video,
YouTube thumbnail.
Yeah.
Is Cars 2 fascist? But like, it is.
I don't think that like Disney Pixar are like fascist, but like this is fascist logic.
Well, no, they are.
Because race in the car universe, racing is a real quote unquote biological category that is like politically significant and is implied that it should be. And so that is just like fash logic.
It's not color because they can be resprayed. So it's just like
the best that lemons can hope for is to have a kindly friend who's actually good, who can like help them out when they get into trouble.
Yeah.
So long as they don't forget that they are lemons.
So here's your moral, kids.
Yeah. Some people are worse.
Are just born worse.
Some people are worse. Detransition.
There's only one thing left. There's only one thing left, which is if you were worried that like the villain being a knight of the realm somehow undermines the institution of monarchy and the honor system, don't worry, because as a thank you, Mater is knighted and becomes Sir To Mater, and everyone calls him Sir Mater, despite the fact that he would be Sir To.
Pass the titles of nobility amendment.
A car's OBE.
It's Katie.
Yeah, you're right. Fuck, you're right. It's not even that. Oh, Jesus Christ. So it's so the car's.
He's knighted with an aerial. The Queen's aerial, which is part of her.
She like takes her aerial out and she unites him with it.
So anyway, So what is interesting
in Radiator Springs
is that the only two heads of state we see are the Pope and the Queen.
Mm-hmm. Which are the theocracy.
The only two heads of state we see are the ones appointed by God, which is interesting.
Mm-hmm. Is God a car?
No, of course not.
Were like cars made in God's image?
And then Adam was made first and then took one of his seats.
If there's a Catholic church, then that means that there was a car Council of Nicaea and a car Council of Trent, and at some point a group of car theologians had to agree that Jesus was both fully divine and also fully car.
Yes. Everything we discussed on the previous bonus episode also happened, but they were cars. There's a car name of the rose. There was a car Franciscan order.
Yeah.
And somewhere out there, in Cars Universe, there is a podcast run by 3 trans cars.
No.
in which we talk about the James Bond films, but they're all we're all cars as well.
James Bond is a character who's been played by several different cars.
But also
we are because 007 is
that's a number plate. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're all cars.
We're all cars. I'm genuinely like.
And Devon looked from car to man and back to car and found they could no longer tell the difference.
Thinking I'm like a Volkspolizei like Trabant. Why did you make us watch this?
Someone suggested it. And I was like, that's a really good idea because there's a spy subplot. And I didn't realize that it was a trans allegory. And I didn't realize any of this shit happened.
I actually enjoyed the spy subplot.
I think it would be funny to watch Cars 2. And then we watched it and we yelled so much in the group chat that I just said, when is the earliest we can record this episode?
Yeah, and it was this.
And it was immediately thereafter, basically.
I did enjoy the spy plot. I liked the idea that they're using... I thought it was a good idea to use like a World Grand Prix as a cover good. For like moving from location to location, and it's something that is quite dramatic. And I thought, that would have been a good plot for a film that didn't melt my brain.
Well, aside from like me trying to do this sort of like YouTube thumbnail thing of like Cars 2 fascist, it's not a good movie. It's not fun to watch.
It's not fun.
Jack Saint already did that.
It's not paced well. It's like it's not funny really.
No.
It's none of the like racing scenes are exciting.
I only laughed, I think, twice. One of them was like there was a bit of a wasabi joke in the Japan segment where Tomeda thought it was like a kind of ice cream and just kept asking for more, which I thought was funny.
And then there was an hour and
45 minutes. They racialized the car.
There was a car izakaya. Yeah, it wasn't heartwarming, like it wasn't emotional. Which, like, if Pixar are managing to fuck that one up, I mean, you know, what can you say? It's bad. Don't watch
movie.
Cars 2. Is my advice to you.
A lot of the vocal performances seem like they are kind of being phoned in a little.
Well, it's Owen Wilson. How much are you going to get out of him?
Not just him.
There's a car power as well.
Yeah.
Fuck you! I meant to talk about that. Yes. Okay. So really quickly before we wrap up
for you, sweetheart. Go ahead.
Thank you,
my love, my queen.
Okay. So the sheriff gets the help when they're in London. The sheriff car gets the help of the like cop cars, but Sarge, who is an army jeep, he's like an old Willys like jeep, gets the help of the British military, and they show up to help, and one of them is like a Land Rover, like an army Land Rover, wearing a parachute regiment beret, like a maroon beret with a parachute regiment cap badge.
Parachute regiment.
So they jump out of planes, which are sentient.
Alive.
Yeah.
And have the parachute regiment
crimes.
committed war crimes in Northern Ireland?
Yes.
Is there a car IRA?
There was a car black and tan, 100%, which was made
Oh,
up
bloody
of
Sunday! No apology, no reverse.
Is there a car UC?
There was a car member of parliament for the UKIP that slathered yogurt on his tie during the 2000.
No, it would have been oil.
Would have been oil.
Like,
no, it can't just all be oil. Yeah, it would be oil
If
because they
there's
eat
a
the oil.
car UKIP, then did Cargon of a Cad try and become a candidate?
There was a car Dankula.
Because
there was the car Hitler at some point, so there was a car salute. Wow, what a thrilling episode of the Kill James Bond podcast. So you may well be listening to this on the free feed as part of the Kill James Bond Banquet of Forgiveness. And if that is true, I'm afraid this is the final free bonus episode you will be receiving. Next month, we are right back to the paid ones with the Val Kilmer movie The Saint coming out this time in a fortnight. You can head on down to our Patreon, that's patreon.com/killjamesbond to sign up for those. We have got another shirt available for pre-order on the Kill James Bond website. That's www.killjamesbond/store. Kill James Bond presents The Lazenby. You ever just want to do exactly one movie and then vibe? That's right, The Lazenby. Head on down, give it a go, purchase it. The artwork is by my personal friend Oscar, so I really want it to do well so that he will feel good about his work. And of course, if you are a patron, then you can get £5 off using the discount code that will be in your Patreon inbox. Now, speaking, of course, of our wonderful patrons, I would be remiss if I didn't take the time to thank our beautiful £15 and above patrons, and those are George Rohack, Jack Holmes, Paint McCalla, Sol, Amanda Rogda, Bobby Lagerstrom, Nikki, Kentucky Fried Commie, Field Commissar Jen Jen, Jack Bushel, Amber de Grazia, Larry Kintz, Tarp O, Mothman, Timothy Pajorni, Jay Martindale, Pete Snorrison, Trip, Big Titty Goth Girl, Benno Rice, Richard Drum, Josh Simmons, David Wickramaratna, Elizabeth Cox, Alfredo, Kinyu92, Raul Leal, Jonas Schwamberger, Zoe Shepard, James Knapman, and Robbie Morgan. Kill James Bond will return in 1 week's time for Octopussy. We were also deranged during the recording of that one, so do that. Kill James Bond stars Alice, Abigail, and Devon. Our producer is Nate Bethay. Our podcast art is by Maddie Lubchansky, and our website is by Tom Allen. See ya.